Another side here I want to address is language, the use of language. Now you're saying that something is pulling me down. I'm inside of a tornado and something is pulling me down. And I would question the language, because as soon as you're saying something is pulling me down, you're going to assign far too much power to that something, which might not even exist. But even if there is something, indeed, something metaphysical which exists and something is pulling you down, by giving you that power through your language, you're giving it a lot of power and you're giving yourself none. As soon as you change your language, as soon as you simply can say, there is a feeling of pulling down, then you totally distance yourself from that imaginary or real, whatever power. Let's not get into this sort of big metaphysics. I don't think it matters, because basically it's where you place point of power. If you place it in your own hands, like you have a feeling that there is some cooling down, then you understand that basically you are as you are, you're firmly, in a really good and grounded and secure place, but there is some feeling of cooling down. There is something that you feel like something is happening, but you almost observe yourself from the side, rather than, oh my God, I'm inside of a tornado, something is pulling me down, it's the end of it, and I cannot get out because it's too dark, too strong, and so on. Change the language, start playing with how you can express the same thing in different words. Now, there was a research, and obviously research was much bigger. Research was about the whole life experience and mental health, but basically, if you think about, and this is an isolated situation you're in, but if you think about it, basically our entire life consists of series of little episodes, and you are in one of those little episodes. And of course, at the moment, it seems huge, but basically 5 years on, 10 years on, 20 years on, 30 years on, 40 years on, 50 years on, for as long as you live, this will be just one little episode, and you will see it as such very, very soon. So there was this research on mental health, which found that statistically, people who describe their life events, so for example, there are two people who are describing very, very similar life events. Very similar thing happened to two different people. Person one describes the situation from a protagonist point of view. They describe it as if this is their life, this is like a play on the stage, and they are protagonists. And they describe the whole thing from this perspective. And then there is person B, or person number two, who is basically describing the same situation, but from a position of a victim. Things happen to them. They found that people who describe themselves as a protagonist, who use a protagonist language, describing their life events, have far more solid and sustainable mental health, and of course physical health as well, but the research was about mental health, than people who describe themselves victims. So every time we are saying, oh, this is happening to me, we are putting ourselves in this position, and this is not good for mental health. This is not good for seeing your escape route. This is not good for taking action. This is not good because basically you wait for other people, you wait for situation, you wait for life itself to present you with opportunities to resolve questions that you don't want to resolve yourself. Person number one, a protagonist, obviously, they go and make mistakes, and then they take ownership of those mistakes, but they are moving and they have a feeling that actually they are creating their life. They are creating their life, responding proactively to the events which are presented to them, to the situation, people, and so. So I would think this is, in this particular situation, especially in relationship situation, when you feel you want to create a different type of relationship, because this is really what you're after. You're after an experience of different type of relationship, conscious relationship, open communication, and enlightened relationship, if you wish, and so on. So if you are to experience all this, you need to start acting proactively in your language. And I know this seems like minor thing, but actually it is major, because this is a narrative we feed in ourselves on a daily basis. This is a narrative our inner self, which is always a child, is listening to every single day. So changing the language, try to come up with different wording for the same thing.